Buenas noches y bienvenidos a todos al Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, lo siento, aquí en México para el Gran Premio de la Ciudad de México para la División 2 esta noche. Esta noche tengo a mi lado un ex compañero de equipo para contarles toda la acción en pista. Este señor es el señor Pato Charlatín. No, es pas posible. Es el Pato Parlanchín. Lo siento, es una palabra que no conozco, entonces no puedo decirla correctamente. Se llama Neville Harris. Welcome, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I can't compete with that in terms of.
Honestly, it was terrible, mate. There were a few words I didn't know, so I kind of said them incorrectly, and I had to think a bit and apologize for the incorrect words, because I know a few people will speak better than me, and yeah, there were a few mistakes in there that I had to kind of correct. But yeah, how are you tonight? Oh, I didn't show. Here it is. Here's all of the data you guys need to understand what's going on in this qualifying session. Yeah. So, what do you think of this track?
It's all right. It's not one of my favourites, but I certainly don't dislike it. I think the racing around here can be pretty good. Obviously, There's a huge DRS straight on the front pit straight that makes overtaking quite possible. And a couple of other DRS straights around the lap to keep you in touch as well. So the racing around here can be pretty good, and it is, yeah. And it's a track as well that's got some quite technical sections as well, medium high-speed corners. So its car setup's important around here as well. So it should be a good outing tonight for Tier 2.
It can indeed. So I will be taking you guys around the lap sometime soon. We've got Colin on lap. I think we had another driver ahead. I think Hoseman will be the first one to set a lap time. Maybe Airways. No, it will be Hoseman, I believe, in the Alpine tonight. So reserve driver in Tier 2. What does he do in the middle sector? He's on the 56-second middle sector. Well, checkpoint at this point. Into the stadium section. It's very hard to stay all four wheels pointing in the right direction here. Very easy to lose traction. And what does Hoseman do? He does a 15.0 as a banker lap. I think that's very decent. We've got Red Car Rambo, our host tonight, with a 15.1 just behind him as well. So he can definitely work on this to get closer to the minute 14s that we expect for pole position, as Doris is the first one to get into the minute 14s. 14.999. So what does Colin do? He uses the rest of his ERS. It's at 15.5. Yeah, he's going to be one of the main contenders here tonight. I believe he won the last race, and he might be no, he's not championship leader. I can't remember, but we'll go through that in more detail later on. Who else do we have? We've got Bergen finishing his lap again, 56.8. So he's not too bad in the middle sector. It could be P6 or something, P10 for him. What about Smith? He's a reserve. He's only just started his lap. We've got Armagh finishing his, and we will be following single track in a few moments around this track. It's a 15.2 again. So you've got basically 2.5 tenths covering the top 5 at the moment. So in the banker laps, it's all looking very, very close. Then you've got a few in the 15.5s as well. So definitely two big hitters here in Colin and Freddie, who will be looking at challenging Doris and Panizza for pole here. So single track, starting his first lap here on the Recta Principal, which is the main straight here. Going into a triple corner here, right, left, right, that they call the Curva Moises Solana. So you can kind of ride the curbs, but you need to find the right amount here. So onto the next, the second DRS straight, we're going to come into the S del Lago, which I believe means the S's of the lake. Very easy to lose traction here as well, but you need to go back to the left. As you go into double double apex hairpin horquilla, and then this is probably my favorite part of the track, the S's. You've got, what is it, 5 or 6 consecutive corners where you're just switching around, getting into the final DRS zone of this track, and then you will be going into probably the tightest section of the track here, the stadium section, Forosol. So again here, very easy to lose traction. You need to be as close to the white line as possible to open the final corner up. And that's a lap around this Mexico City track. It's a 1:49.45. So again, half a tenth ahead of Doris. He'll be more than happy with this as a banker lap if that brings him up to P1 on a different kind of run strategy to the others a bit later. Maybe trying to get a bit more time, track evolution, excuse me. So yeah, we've got most of our tier drivers setting their lap times. We've got Bit then in the McLaren setting his first time. He's in the second DRS zone, excuse me, coming into Este del Lago. Let's go on board with him. So he manages to go a bit further to the left to open the right section here. Double apex into Horquilla. Doesn't extend though on the left side, so that can cost him a bit of speed and then essentially time. That was perfect. That left-hander, he managed to get as much out of the left corner as he could, trying to reduce the total distance that he runs for the track. A 57.1, so that's probably 3/10 off what Bergen did earlier on, and that was around P10, 11 for him. So he's probably looking at P13 at the moment, Bit. Again, that's a very good line he takes.
Final.
Yeah.
On the corner, tight line around there, and it's
16.2. So it's the bottom time at the moment behind Scottish Ninja and Cross Tier T. Cross Tier T on his out lap, trying to get himself ready for the final lap. Well, probably not his final. We've got 10 minutes left in this session. What can Freddie Olsen do? We said earlier on he's one of the big hitters in this division. So P12 is not what he's expecting at the moment, and he bails into the pits, so he won't be improving just yet.
It's worth just mentioning the championship situation in this tier is very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
At the moment, 7 rounds in with 5 to go, and we've got 5 drivers, Colin, Nick, who unfortunately isn't here, Doris, Friddy and Bergen. They're all within 8 points of each other.
Yeah, it's madness.
In the championship from P1 to 5, so any one of them has got a great chance with 5 races to go to win this championship, which is great to see.
Exactly. I'm just going to be going to Red Car Rambo before being on Hoseman, because he's improving by 1/10 into the final sector, so that could be a challenge for pole here. If he finds more time in the final sector, in this stadium section, as he loses a bit of traction here, it's a 14.9, so he's in between Doris and single track this time round. What can Hoseman do? He's bailed out of his lap because he's invalidated. But yes, it's a very, very close championship. This is the closest division we have in MRC. It's always been this way in Tier 2. It's like they're all trying to hold back not to be promoted to Tier 1, I think. They see what they see what Tier 1 looks like, and they're like, nah, I'm fine in Tier 2. Let's just let each other win and not look too good out there. But they're all really quick and good drivers.
Well, I don't think there's anyone looking at the standings who's won more than one race. So Colin,
I think you're right.
Won the last round at USA, and he's taken the lead. Nick's got 1 win. Friddy, no, he doesn't have one. Who's next? Oh, Vixen's got a win. Sociopath has got a win. Red Car's got a win. And even Panitsa, who's only 13th in the championship, but he won in Azerbaijan, so it's really spread out.
But he missed a few races, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got a few.
Yeah, that's probably why.
I think he's had a few retirements by the looks of things as
well.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
That
zeros on
25 points is the only time he's scored, actually, in this season.
So it's hot or cold for him.
Yeah.
What can Doris do? He's coming to the end of Sector 2 here. It's looking quick at the moment. It's a 55.9, so he's found a 10th. So again, a 10th, that will be more than enough to get to pole currently, as both from the top two are in the pits, so this is his moment to find some time. It's, wow, a 14.6 for Hosman. That's decent. Doris improves. He finds 2.5 tenths, getting up to P2. But yeah, still just over a tenth away from P1. Panitz Bergen. Bergen is on a big improvement here. That's looking really solid here for the Kicksaubers. Up to P3 with a 14.8. So the track is definitely finding some time now. I think that was Bergen's third time lap. So he's finally finding some confidence to challenge with the front. What can Colin do out in the first sector? He finds just under 0.2 of a second. Yeah, he extends very well on the exit of Orkija. Then into the S's. Let's have a look on board. Oh, he runs a bit wide in that right-hander here before the left one. What does he do? It's a 56.19, so he's about 0.2 off what Doris had done. He loses traction on the entry to the stadium, so this will not be an improvement for him. But Friddy, we said he's a big hitter. He's found 0.9 of a second, so that would currently be a 14.8, and he's still got plenty of time to find in the final sector. I thought you were going to talk. Sorry.
I was, but it was because on my screen, Friddy went very wide into the stadium section, but actually that was just a glitch on my end as he slots it into P2.
Yeah, 23 thousandths of a second away from Hosman. 5 minutes left, plenty of track evolution to go, plenty of times to be set. Rassam is one of our drivers setting a lap here. It's a 14.8. Everybody's finding sub-minute 15 times. Smith will be the last one to set a time for the moment, as everybody else is either in the pits or on an out lap or has just set their time. So yeah, let's just have a look at what the Tier 3, hoping to be promoted to Tier 2 next season, can do on track here.
So he won't be sandbagging, he'll be doing everything he can to impress.
Exactly, this is his opportunity to test himself. But he's 1.2 seconds off his own time, so maybe it's a double warm-up lap, but he's got 20% ERS left, so he might have just had a mistake or is running several laps. Who else?
Boxing.
We've got Bit. Yeah, boxing, yeah, so we've got Bit finding just under 0.2 of a second in the first sector, which is not easy to do. You've got 3 corners. You can find time in there, but it's very easy to lose time with the curbs that you have to kind of ride, but not too much. Otherwise, you jump around and lose steering input. What will this be? It's a 57.1, so he's lost time in that middle sector. Runs wide and invalidates, unfortunately. Who do we have ready to set a lap? There's a Mercedes, so it might be Panitza. No, it's going to be the other one. It's going to be Krusty T, who will be setting the next lap that we will have tonight. So 3.5 minutes left. Hosman on pole at the moment with Friddy and Doris behind. I think we've still got a few twists and turns to go.
Yeah, certainly. It's time for everyone to come out the pits when the track is at its grippiest and its quickest, and really go full send for their final qualifying lap. And the weather's looking very good, as Airways has a big twitch coming out of turn 3 on his attempts, so that's probably killed off his lap. Maybe he's got enough fuel and battery to go around and have another go. But we've also got Lorpe starting a lap from 10th in the Red Bull.
But what can Crosstier T do in the second sector? He's found half a second, so that could bring him up to about P12 at the moment. Potentially P11 if he improves enough.
Looks very aggressive into the final corner of the stadium section there.
So it's a P10.
Big improvement.
Yep, found another 0.3 of a second. So unless he's got enough fuel in the tank, this should be his last attempt. So let's have a look at Airways, who did... he invalidated, sorry. I thought he was just slow in the first sector. Who do we have else? Panizza. Panizza found half a second in the first sector from 8th on the grid. So it's looking very good for him. What can he find in the second sector? Soon find out. It's 0.7. Wow. As Doris found, he's a 14.5, but I think he's under threat here from Panizza in the Mercedes. It's looking very tidy here in the final section in the stadium. Gets a good line through the final corners. He found good traction as well. I think, yeah, 14.4, so just about 0.5 over Doris, but I'd be very surprised if Doris can improve on that.
Yeah, and there's a few guys still who have got a chance to improve. Friddy has just started a lap. Hoseman is done for the session, it seems. He's still in the pits. But, yep, Sam in P5. Bergen's on an outlap. Single track as well. And Red Car is on a lap, and he's up by 1.5 in the stadium section. So he might have an opportunity to move up a few spots.
He is indeed.
The grid. He comes up to the line, and he does
so that's
improve
P5 for the moment. But Laupi was on a good improvement in the first sector, I believe. Oh no, he's not. Bergen started his final run.
Big twitch for Bergen.
Seen anybody? Friddy's invalidated, I think you said that.
Yep. Doris is not on a lap. Panizza is not on a lap, by the looks of things.
Armand is finding a 10th in the middle sector, but that won't be enough yet to find extra positions.
Single track potentially. He's slightly down on his best in sector 1, but
he is
still time to make up.
Tell you what, Aero Voice is on a big improvement here. He's got 7.5, which could bring him up to P10, so that would be a 6th place improvement from what he's got currently. Taking a good line, good traction, using overtake for the end of this lap. It's a 15.1, so P10 for him. What about Colin? He's only finding 2/10. Single track, improving to sector 2, okay. It's P13 for our championship leader. So a 10.5 for single track, which could bring him up to P4 or 3, actually. He loses a bit of time, though.
Yeah.
Bergen is invalidated. Rassam is on a very good improvement as well. What can Doris do? He's lost time and he's invalidated as well. So I believe Rassam will be the final guy to find some time on this track. What does he do in the middle sector? It's a 2.5 improvement. So again, this is looking at a top 3 position. But it wasn't very tidy in that. Yeah, in the final section, he's locked up a few times. He's extended the corner. That's good. But he's going to the pits. Yeah. That's a shame. It was looking like a very good lap time. A few of these guys have lost time in the final sector. Rassam and single track. So it's a shame we didn't see the complete potential they had. But yeah, we've got our grid set with a few tier 1 reserves, a few tier 3 reserves, but mostly our very, very close tier 2 drivers, and this grid shows it. Okay, there's 0.5 at the front, another 10th to P3, hardly anything to P4. It's all looking very, very tight, and you can be sure that on that start-finish straight, we're going to see a bit of madness, I think, on the race start. Right,
yeah, definitely. So, with the long run down to turn 1, it could be spicy.
Exactly. So I'll take you through the grid for now. You've got Panizza on pole with Doris and Hoseman behind, completing the top 3. Friddy Olsen, Red Car Rambo, Rassam, Bergen, Single Track, Laupi, Aero Voice for the top 10. Then you've got Armand, Crustiati, our championship leader, I think, Colin, down in P13. He'll be disappointed with that. Airways, Bit, Scottish Ninja, Smith, Monster, and our tier 1 reserves, Baby Hornet, and Kisa Soze, excuse me, who can't set a lap time. Right. Who are you going to keep an eye on for this race, or who do you expect to get a good result?
Well, I think one person to probably keep an eye on is Colin, our championship leader, who's not had the best qualifying, but you don't lead a championship by not having some resilience and the ability in the race to claw back some positions if you don't do so well in qualifying. So I think that'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Yep.
Doris looked pretty good throughout qualifying. There's so many guys up there who you feel could have potentially challenged for that pole. So I think it's going to be quite an open battle here with the amount of guys that we saw in the mid to high 14s. It's really going to be there for the taking, and obviously safety cars and the like could also mix things up. So it's going to be hard to predict.
Yeah, you're right, definitely. So as we said, we've got Colin, our championship leader, down in P13. Who have we got behind him? Nev said that Nick BT isn't racing tonight, so that will be quite a few points dropped for him. He'll be right down the order in the championship battle. We've got Doris then, who's level with Nick, so still 1 point behind Colin. This is a very good opportunity to find a few points on the championship leader, especially since I believe Doron is going to be missing a few races, I think 2 or 3. So he needs a very good result today. As we're on the grid already, so I think that was not 5 minutes. I'll be waiting for instructions from...
Yeah, you can tell by the fact that hardly anyone's pulled away, so...
Yeah, I think this is going to be a red flag, unfortunately. I'll just take a picture of the grid for everybody. I'll wait as well for confirmation that it is a red flag. But let's just have a quick look at tyre strategies, maybe. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not going to be very good commentating right now because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, you can tell there's half of the grid almost retired, so that'll be...
Yeah, it is going to be a red flag, so apologies everybody. We've had a bit of an issue here, so we are going to end this stream here. We'll be back in maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just the time to set the next lobby up, get the grid ready, and we'll be firing on all cylinders to bring you the action. See you in a moment.